So, Kevin, what about your joke that you were telling us earlier that I hate? You want to introduce the audience to it?
Why is it that when you go into the bathroom, you're American, when you come out of the bathroom, you're American, but when you're inside, European? Get it?
I still hate this joke.
European.
And
Yeah,
considering that Desolate has all the Europeans in, well, almost all the Europeans, that joke isn't even gonna make sense for half of them.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
always,
Most of them are European, so it's fine.
They're always
so true. But yeah, so hello guys, we are back. Kevin, Durrani, and I are back for Desolate Draft Analysis. Sorry this took so long, but work decided to be a bitch.
Yeah, it turns out our schedules. Yeah, turns out work schedules do not line up too well.
Yeah. So let's stop beating around the bush and get to the.
Let's see if this video will be shorter than an hour 40 minutes. Don't look at the timestamp.
I doubt it. All right, let's get going. So first off, we have what the fuck? Okay, cool. Already having technical mishaps, as in me pressing the button too hard. So first off, we have Crow, and this is a weird team. Like I feel like everything works, but like it works in like the most jank way possible.
So when the draft just started and Crow just got Magearna, he sent me his draft plan, and that draft plan had Rillaboom, Toxapex, and like Diglett to trap stuff, and like I kind of like that plan, but obviously things got sniped on the way, and so he ended up with a Tapu Bulu and a Alolan Duck Trio, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because Alolan Duck Trio does not get Arena Trap, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And
so I feel like with the snaps, things kind of fell apart, I want to say.
Yeah, I also feel like, as much as I love Mienshek, I feel like it kind of doesn't really make sense on a team when you already have Hawlucha. Both are, like, they both kind of do similar things. Like, you don't always have to bring Hawlucha with, like, SD terrain. You can do, like, Ban, you can do some dumb shit with it.
Well, I don't know. Hawlucha, I think, is a better breaker because you have stuff like Banded, Reckless, High Jump Kick if you need to break, and then, like, it's a way better Scarfer, right? Because you turn...
Yeah, no, Mienshek is a better Scarfer.
It's faster,
I'm just saying it's, like... It's just kind of weird to have both, as, like,
So,
two fast fighting types. With momentum.
I think Bulu on this team is, like, pretty... Like, it's a pretty interesting combination with Magearna, because, like, it's not an offensive fairy, and, like, being able to sponge ground-type hits is really nice. Like, Grassy Terrain being able to sponge ground type hits is really nice for Magearna. Zygarde is like one of the best ground types to have on a Tapu Bulu team, just because it primarily uses 1,000 arrows, so it doesn't get weakened by terrain. Nidoqueen and Nidoking are really nice for that as well. That's what immediately jumps out to me. I think I drafted Slowking because of Teleport Future Sight, and I think it'd be really effective here as well, because you have like Magearna and Tapu Bulu that just have really big attack stats. How do we feel about Mega Stable on this team? I'm not sure what to make of it.
It definitely made more sense on the initial plan, like the sort of like semi-style plan. Here, I still kind of like it. I mean, you don't have the best removal, so it's a nice way to keep hazards off, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And it kind of helps as like another setup win con with Magearna.
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to kill because like Magearna sponges favorite moves like it's nothing, right? So like it's gonna be hard to kill that Sableye.
Yeah, I also think
I don't hate it.
I also think the Entei late round is probably a good pickup because without like a decently strong fire type, then I think this team would have really struggled to get through like some bulky steals and grasses.
Yeah. 100%. I also think it's just nice that, like, because Magearna is really your only fairy resist until you pick up Entei, and you have, like, shit like, Mega Sableye, Zygarde, Mienshek, Hawlucha that are all weak to fairy.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously Magearna is, like, one of the best fairy switch-ins in the game, but having that secondary backup is still really nice to help route up the team.
I do also feel like there's maybe a little bit of a lack of immediate power. It's not bad because Magearna and Entei still hit like trucks, and Bulu's pretty strong as well, but I feel
Banded Bulu.
And I guess Mienshek too, but I also feel like, to some extent, like, Lucha...
A lot of them can be matchup dependent. Yeah, you don't have like, a mon where it's super easy to just go, banded, and then, like, it always put in work, right?
Yeah, I would say the closest thing to that is
Like
Entei,
Bool,
but
there's a good poison.
I would say Entei's probably the closest to that. But even then, like, if your opponent has a good water type or like a good ground, like, yeah, basically if they have a good water type, then it doesn't really have the best matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another
it's-
thing I will say though is I wish this team had more utility because like Mega Slate like to keep hazards off is nice, but like if hazards do go on, if like the opponent has Mold Breaker or something, you're just stuck with hazard.
Yeah,
You're-
like,
Yeah, there's
There's
there's also like
default
you know,
Lucha.
yeah, and
Cody and Lucha, and that's it.
and your rocker
Yeah, then-
is Alolan Dougie.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
also copium. Like I definitely wish there was more utility with this team. Because
Yeah,
I feel like with hazard, with good removal, like even if the team is weird, Magearna and Zygarde can definitely put in a lot of work with the proper support, right?
Mhm.
Especially because Zygarde has stuff like Z Skitter Smack to deal with grass types and like or just Z Outrage and right, and
yeah,
you still have Skitter Smack. Skitter Smack is really really good on Zygarde.
I think like Mienshao in the last three, you could probably like use those points and rearrange and pick up some better mons there
yeah.
for the
I
utility.
agree. Something
Yeah.
like a reliable defogger and just something that you can bring every game to like set up with rocks. I don't know what specifically, but like just something to get some chip on board because then that makes Magearna's job, that makes Zygarde's job, that makes everything's job so much easier here.
Yeah, like shipping things with hazard definitely benefits Magearna and Zygarde a lot because with a bit of those two, like with just a bit of chip can run through teams like it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Magearna doesn't need chip to run through teams, but it definitely makes its job a lot easier.
Yeah, especially because you know a lot of the checks to Magearna like are gonna be fire types, and so they have to choose between like boots or you know resist berries and stuff, and like that can be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have hazards, stuff can go like AV on you, and then like it's a lot harder for Magearna to break that.
Yeah.
Or you know just go resist berry. Let's say like it's Moltres for example, right? They can just go Wakanberry and then like don't have to worry about rocks and stuff, and so
Yeah.
I feel like forcing a lot of these fire types to run boots makes it easier for Magearna to like you know just bypass them with shit like weakness policy, store tower, and just like win.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely.
Yeah, something like Fortress could work pretty nice on this team, just as like both a spinner and a spike setter. Spike and T-Spike, rocks, you know, the whole 9 yards. You all get that in one package. Even if it is a bit passive, you still have like Volt Switch on it. So that might be a worthwhile pickup.
Skarmory is still in the board.
Is Skarm
Yeah,
there?
Skarm
Okay.
Skarm would work
There
really
you
well
go.
here.
Like if you want to go back to the semi-star, yeah, you can pick up like Skarm Tuxapex, and you have like rocks, spikes, and T-Spikes and Defog. Hey, you have the whole package with those two. Mega Sableye and like
Even Klefki. I mean, like if you wanted something a bit cheaper, but I think it's
I
enough
don't
for
know
this
if
team.
triple fairies the way. Yeah, you have enough fairies as it is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, wait. You have a Magearna. I take that back.
All right, I think we can move on now. I think we
Yeah.
said enough about this team. All right, next up we have Luka, and this is a pretty scary team. Really, with just the top two, like everything
The
else.
first
can be kind
three, I think, are pretty standard. Like you often
Yeah.
see those three together.
Yeah, I
Ideally,
agree.
being Medicham pressures the dark and normal for Pult. Pult pressures the bulky psychic for Medicham, and then Manibus eats like all the ghost hits for both Pult and Medicham, right? And is like free momentum. So like just those three together can come to every game and like just threaten to win games. Just the three. Like honestly, you could probably win a Pokemon game with just those three.
Mhm.
And then you have nice ways to cover your weakness, like Bronzong for Ice, and then you have Hazard with Parrot, and then just a Kyurem chilling there that's waiting to fire off Ice Beams.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
fully understand the like I don't hate the Talonflame, but it seems a little strange to have like Jolteon and Talonflame on the same team. Like, you know, they're both kind of elite speed options, and I don't really think you need both. Maybe Talonflame could have been used on like maybe like a bulkier fairy. I mean, not fairy
I
fire.
I think T-Flame is fine because Jolteon is not a great Pokemon, and so like it's just hard. Like it's there's gonna be a lot of matchup where Jolteon is just hard walled, right? And so like if you want that speed option without having to bring Jolteon, like Talonflame is a fine pick.
I think Talonflame is also like I think Xeon Talonflame is also like it's pretty nice with Bolt, I feel.
Yeah. Like, I don't think there's an issue with
Yeah.
having 2 fast mons.
I guess. I don't know. To me, it's just. I feel like you maybe could have done.
It sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on this. It's just kind of like.
It's a really solid team.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. Like, the first 3 kind of carry, and then there's a whole ass Kirim in the back, which is like also a threat.
I guess maybe if you want to get nitpicky, like Mega Medi is like your only dedicated like physical mon is kind of unfortunate. But
Well,
it's a Mega Medi, and you don't really need that. Yeah.
Yeah, Z-Pult.
Yeah.
I think
Z-Pult-
generally speaking, though, it's just a pretty like it's bulky offense, and like you have like two really strong mons at the back, and then like two in the front and one in the back is for like real offense, and then everything else is just kind of fat or like company needs to like set up a little bit in order to have some power. So I don't think it's like terrible, and like Mega Metachamp is probably one of the best mons to have as like your only dedicated physical mon because it is so fucking powerful hard to switch into.
It just feels like a standard Gen 8 team with a Kirim slapped on the back and Xeon Pole.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of Kirim for like some shitty like 3-pointer, and then get rid of the Z moves, and like you could easily draft this in any standard Gen 8 league, and it wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah, and like, you know, slap a Kirim onto any standard Gen 8 team and it just makes them objectively better, you know? The math checks out, so like I like this team a lot. I think it works well.
I'm not personally a big fan of it, but that's mainly just because I don't like a lot of the mods on here. Mainly Manabuzz and Swampert.
I also think Swampert with Flip Turn is really nice here. Like, yeah, no, like kind of just as like a slower fat mon with momentum is nice.
No, it's absolutely
with Among Us.
It's just
with Among Us, yeah.
It's a good team. I respect it. It's just not something that I would draft.
Yeah, I more so want to mention the Flip Turn with Among Us regen.
Because you wanted to say funny Among Us.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess.
All right, I think we can move on now.
Yeah. We are speed running.
Yeah. So next up we got Honch, and for once I don't think he haunched his draft.
Yeah. So for those who don't know,
yeah.
So
give us a
the
definition
of hunching a draft. Yeah. So Honch tends to like first few picks draft like really scary like offensive ones, and then he'll draft the most passive stuff in the back with like Umbreon, Florges, and kind of just ruin all his momentum going into the draft. This time I think his defensive picks are like really not that passive, right? Gliscor has U-turn, has taunt, high attack stat. Milotic Flip Turn, decently high special attack stat, and like Ferrothorn has these really strong like Power Wave, Gyro Ball, right? Knockoff, T-Wave. So like his more defensive options are really not that passive, and his offense is still like really scary, right? You have Deoxys Attack, one of the scariest mon in the format that we allowed. Megalopony, Tyrantrum with Z, who is like a massive pain in the ass, right?
Yeah, Tyrantrum under
webs.
webs. Tyrantrum and DOA under a webs are gonna be nasty.
Yeah. And like, you know, the team is really, really fast, it feels like, right? Deoxys, Lopunny, Ribombee, Raikou.
Yeah.
A lot of his offense is gonna be really fast, and so
like I also don't think that there's like I don't think there's like this really like there is technically a speed gap between Raikou and like Gliscor, but it's not even too terrible, honestly. Like,
well,
it's a
go ahead.
It's really solid, and like obviously you'll have like mons between like 114 and 110 that can run like plus attack, but it's like it's such a like it's really small. It's such a minor nitpick when like you have such a scary offensive core to lead off the team. Deoxys attack with Sticky Web is really nice because like you can afford like it means that Scarf you can't just slap a Scarf into something and just guarantee outspeed it. You have to be more conscious about that. And Fighting plus Psychic as an offensive duo is really nice. Tyrantrum with Z in web sounds absolutely terrifying. And like while I'm not a huge fan of Raikou with Z is also really nice. So I'm a huge fan of this team.
I do think that the speed tier gap is a bit more concerning than you are thinking it is, mainly because, like, 95 to 115, you have a lot of really good mons in there, and Gliscor is, like, it sometimes runs a lot of speed, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of weird in that aspect. So I do feel like there's sometimes you might have, I don't know, like a... I'm trying to think of like a...
Virizion, maybe.
Not like a
Virizion,
like a Cortana. Like a Cortana here can afford to run, would more than likely run Adamant, because Gliscor's probably gonna, want to be more bulky.
Yeah. And then so stuff like I don't know, a Megaladi, even if it doesn't run Mudas, it can just still run Timid, but then it can afford like a lot more bulk, right? Because it has to creep Gliscor, and so like it's gonna make it a lot harder for you to kill that common Megaladi because it has like you let it afford so much more bulk, right?
Yeah.
So the speed can be an issue, but I think like the positive aspects of this team will make up for it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not a single mon here where I'm like, yeah, drop that for something with that speed tier, like maybe Spiritomb, but even then the bulk at the back is pretty nice. And like being able to like,
and also just having to not lose to bulky psychics is nice.
Exactly, yeah.
And doesn't it get Poltergeist now?
I don't know, but like Spiritomb's typing is just nice to check stuff like Mega Medicham, Mega Golade.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, a lot of fighting types that have Ice Coverage could be a huge issue here, but I think Spiritomb does a good job at helping with that. Because, like, if you check Medicham and Mega Golade, what else is there, right? You have Lopunny, so, like, there's not that many fighting types with Ice Punch besides those. Like, the next one is what? Like, Toxicroak, you still check that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's... So, I like this team. I'm not a Mega Lop fan, but I think it works well here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Spiritomb does get Poltergeist.
Okay. Thanks for confirming that. Alright.
So that can make offensive Spiritomb a bit scarier. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah. Good job not haunting your team, Honch.
Alright, I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have NotSens, and Kevin, what do you think of this team? Because I feel like it's just your team, but he's kind of like, just...
More top-heavy?
Yeah, he just turned the top heaviness up to 11.
First thing that comes to mind is that this looks very weak to Ghost. Because your Ghost resist is Greninja.
Yeah, that's true.
But besides that, I think the offense on this team is obviously like really scary. Pretty much every mon here can go offensive and be scary.
Yeah.
And yeah.
One thing I'm not a big fan on is that your only removal is Togekiss.
Superior gets defog.
Oh yeah, I forgot Superior gets defog. I don't know how I forgot that, but even then, like, those mons don't all like they can usually afford to run defog, but they don't always want to. But I guess at the same time, you're not really.
For Serp, like, what else are you running? You want Leaf Storm, HV Fire, and then everything else is fair game.
Yeah, but I think you usually want like Glare.
You can just kind of slap it on.
Yeah. I think
I don't think it's terrible, because, like, your only rock mon that's weak to rocks is, like, Victini, and, like, while webs really suck against this team, like, if you're facing a web team, you're gonna run enough removal for that.
Well, it's also just that, like, your top, like,
Spikes,
your top 4 mons just, almost always wear boots.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I do feel like it is a bit sad to see for Zera, Victini, Serp, or Manaphy to be not able to use Z, but I can understand why, because you definitely want Gren to have it.
I don't know. I feel like I would have Z'd Zera Serp over Gren on this team. I think
Zera Serp, yeah.
Like, I think Z Protean Gren is nice. I just feel like Zera Serp maybe benefit more from it, or Manaphy.
Yeah.
Zera Manaphy probably benefit more from it.
Zera Manaphy is probably what I would have done.
I think I would have probably done Zera Manaphy as well. because just having that ability to have Z Rain Dance, or like
Z Rain Dance on Manaphy, or
just
just
the ability to blow,
Vortex.
just the ability to blow through anything.
And then on Zera, like Z Giga Impact on bulk up sets is really nice to like blow past like a certain mon, or like Z play rough if you're facing a Garchomp, or
Yeah, and like
I feel like that could have been nice.
And like I don't feel like you struggle with things like Toxapex or Magearna that much.
Yeah.
So I don't think Z on Gren was necessary.
Yeah, especially because like by Z and Gren you kind of give up on another good Z user, so like it makes on an offensive team like that, making it easy to predict who's gonna be Z is kind of unfortunate. I feel like if both Zera and Manaphy were Z, you would be able to apply just more pressure, keep the opponent guessing, and like that's kind of how you have to play this team because of how like offensive it is, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really have the bulk or the utility to play the long game, I feel.
Like everything here is like can take probably one strong neutral hit, and then you kind of have to just like you have to play offensive there. So like if you end up in a situation where your offense is like your opponent checks your offense really well, which I kind of doubt just given how much firepower there is here, then it could be an issue.
Yeah, but I think like Manaphy is one of the best specialty users in the game as long as you don't click Rain Dance twice. And yeah, I made that joke twice. And like someone like Zero really likes enjoying like running boots and stuff, but like again, you have so much coverage on like mons like Zera, mons like Victini, mons like Manaphy. Not having Z on those things kind of sucks. And you'd still be able to like Z Rampardos at the end if you wanted to. I think it's really interesting because like this is I believe we only have 2 teams in the league that went 9-mon, and both of them are like really offensive, like scary offensive teams. So that are also weak to like one specific type. The Rage was the one on the other in the other division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just because with less mons, you have less typing, so like just naturally it's going to be harder to check everything. So like as a response, your team kind of has to be more offensive, otherwise it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anything else on this team?
Like everything up to Superior is disregarding the last 2. Everything like disregarding the last 2, everything is above 13 points and above. So it's like super top heavy for the stat. Anyone who wants numbers, I guess. But yeah, that's it.
I could also one other thing, I could see Trick Room be kind of annoying here, just because of how fast your team is. Like you have Agent Raj, which he's slow as shit, but everything else is really fast. Like I think you only have.
Ardain is slow too.
Most of your main mons, most of your good mons are really fast.
Let's like you're out of your top 7, your slowest is Megachomp at 92, and even then that's kind of fake speed.
80.
80. Sorry, I forgot.
But it's still like decently fast. Yeah.
Still too fast to be like amazing.
So that's something to be. Yeah, so that is something to keep an eye on. Because like if I'm thinking of something like Marowak, for example, like even if you have Copperage or Rampardos, Copperage and Rampardos don't have an easy time revenge killing a Marowak, right?
Yeah, either Marowak.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Next up we got Flap, and just like those last 4 picks, the only one that I am okay with there is Gyapdos.
Why would you look at a draft and look at the last 4 picks first?
Well,
you have the 721st most popular Pokemon right there. I don't have an issue with it.
It's just like I don't understand the Mega Bayonet. Pokemon is just bad.
I don't understand the Mega Bayonet either. And it just makes the whole team kind of weird.
Yeah.
I like this team. Like, I think you have like Genesect Latios that I think that's a really scary like offensive core at the very start with Thundy T as well. Crocodile Gyapdos.
Because Latios is Z,
Yeah, Z Latios, Z Thundy, Z721. You have Webs on this team, which is like really like it's pretty cool. Gyarados, Thundy, Latios, Genesect, they all really benefit from webs. Like, I have a strong feeling that Slurpuff is going to come pretty often with webs just because, like, because that, but then you run into the issue where your fastest Pokemon is Latios at 110.
Yeah, elite
That's
speed.
a very, very slow team.
Yeah,
So,
not having an elite Speedmon kind of sucks here.
And while you have, like, Gyarados and Gyarados that runs Scarf all the time, Genesect doesn't mind running Scarf, then DT can run Scarf, Crocodile can. Still, like, having such a slow team makes you forced to rely on webs.
Mm-hmm.
And if your opponent has really good removal, like, that's going to be annoying.
I mean, granted, Gyarados is there for Define to punish Defog, but, like, spinning can be I think, like, a good spinner can be obnoxious here, especially, like, if they don't give a shit about Mega Bayonet.
Or just being a flank cap, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm imagining something like Flame Orb, Swallow here is gonna be a huge pain in the ass, right? Because how the fuck do you deal with Flame Orb Swallow?
Yeah.
It just clicks Facade on you.
Yeah, Genesect is not a bulky steal. Like,
it's decently bulky, but it's not, like, gonna switch into, anything.
Yeah.
Genesect's pretty good at taking neutral hits.
Yeah, you can take, like, one strong neutral hit with Genesect, and then, like, that's it. Before it dies.
Yeah, this is definitely, like, a weird team. I like Pyukumungu, but, like, I don't know how I feel about, the Mega Bayonet and
like,
the slow teams running it.
Yeah. Like, Puke Blissey just seems a little taunt foddery to me.
It seems like he just kind of wanted bulk, and he just was like, yeah, these monts are fat, let's put them on.
Yeah.
But I think it has a really, really cool start at the very least, even if it does kind of get haunched at the end.
Yeah, that is the definition of hunching a draft.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, like, I don't even hate the Blissey on this team. It's just, like, I think, like, once you throw on the Puke on top of the Blissey, it's like, does that really make sense?
The Puke is not the issue, the Blissey is the issue here, okay? You're gonna come down real quick, Hazy.
Hazy, are you forgetting your season 1 match versus Kevin?
The reason I lost that game was because I let my sash get broken. Well, that was the main reason why I lost.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is Hazy lost to a Pyukun getting to +6 on him, so, like, I don't know, man.
Alright,
overall just a weird team. I don't know how I feel about it.
I will say, I really
can make it work.
I think Psychic Dark fighting is a really, really underrated offensive core. And you have that with Latios, Crocodile, and Gyarados that are all pretty threatening Pokemon. So I do like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on. Alright, next up we have Aero, and the first 7 Mons? Really awesome. Really like that. The last, like, Chansey Corsola is the definition of how to haunt your team.
To be fair, to me, hunching a team is drafting, like, 3, like, really offensive one, and then going immediately into the passive stuff. Like, there's usually a hard cutoff. I don't think drafting more passive ones at the end of your draft is that big of a deal, especially because, you have bulkier ones that are not as passive, like Moltres, Latias, Tangrowth. So it's not
I just don't like the Chansey and G-Corsola here. I think you could have gotten way better Mons than that.
I think it's okay, because I'm, like, pretty sure G-Corsola is fairly cheap here. And then,
it's like 6 points or 5.
I'd still rather get a different ghost type than it, because you're an EV, like...
4.
Whatever.
It's 4 points, jeez.
It's like...
Yeah, so it's, like, really cheap. I think Corsola for 4 is more than fine. Like,
I don't know. I don't like it.
It's a spin blocker at the very least.
It's super bulky. Like, yes, it's passive, but, like, well, let's not forget how bulky that thing is, and, like, for 4 points, I don't see an issue with it. Like,
I don't know, I think I'd rather just get, like, a different spin blocker that can maybe do shit like Golurk.
Like, honestly, it's probably one of the better 4-pointers. I think you're kind of overreacting. In 4 points,
I
like
think-
the other option were like what Dustclops, if you want to spin looking. Like I just think Corsola is better than Dustclops.
Okay, Corsola is better than Dustclops. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I really like I just mentioned Psychic Fighting Dark has like a really potent offensive core, and then you like immediately have that. And the slowest of the three is fucking Keldeo at 108. Like it's a super fast core that just like it's pretty powerful. Like I think Weavile is the weakest at base. Base 125 and then 130, 145. Like it's really powerful. And then you have like your late game, like or your later round, like Tangrowth, Moltres as a pretty cool defensive core there. Nidoking provides even more offensive potential. Latias is really good. But you have a really sizable speed gap between 108 and Moltres at 90. Moltres doesn't always want to run fast, so it's Nidoking at 85. Like, that is just... That's too extreme there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have, when base hundreds can pretty safely run plus speed, and everything above it as well, up to 107, can really safely run plus attack plus special attack.
I don't
That's
think
really gonna add up.
Safely. Moltres can definitely run speed, right?
But unless you play Moltres like I do, you're not running offensive Moltres. So
well, even if it's more utility based, it often will go max speed, max HP. I think it's capped to say base 100 here will safely run Adamant. You still have to respect the Moltres.
To really disrespect his own, you disrespect your favorite mon. That's insane.
Yeah, I must be a little bit off.
One thing I will say is that as much as Journey was going off about the top 3 core being pretty nice, I do agree it's nice, but I feel like you kind of wanted a offensive grass or electric here, just because I feel Metagross, Keldeo, Weavile, they all can get checked by bulky waters decently easily. I'm not saying bulky waters are a hard counter to any of them, but it definitely is annoying that your top 3 mons share the same general archetype of checks.
Especially when your Nidoking is right there as well.
Yeah, to be fair, that can allow you to kind of overpower those water types. Let's say you have, I don't know, let's give you a Suicune, right? Weavile can just bend and knock, deal 30-40%, remove your leftovers, and then later on, you're in range of 2 Thunder Punch from Metagross or a Secret Sword from Keldeo.
Mm-hmm.
So I also think a lot of bulky waters have a secondary type. Slowking gets knocked off by Weavile. Toxapex gets then headbutted by Mega Meta. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not the end of the world.
Yeah, no, it's not the end of the world. I'm just saying it's kind of annoying. That's all.
Yeah. I think the Z users are I feel I like them for the most part. I think both of them can benefit from it pretty well.
That's what I would have been for. I think
this is what I would have done too.
Yeah, I think the only one that makes me question it is Weavile. I
don't like Weavile with Z.
No, Weavile doesn't have that many strong doesn't have that many high base power moves. Its power.
I think it just has a lot of coverage though. But yeah, that's fair.
On Weavile, I'd rather just either go Banded or Boots with SD, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would rather see that as well.
I think Kel and Laddie are better as users.
Yeah,
because Laddie can do shit like Calm Mind and then Z Draco. Keldeo can have a Hydro Vortex to nuke something. So
yeah, that's true. All right.
I prefer those two. There's nothing I really would have changed here. Yeah, I don't really have an issue with this team personally.
I think more Hazard. I think Hazard could be nice on this team.
You have Chansey with rocks, Corsola with rocks, Nidoking with rocks, Metagross with rocks.
Yeah, I don't think Hazard's.
Does Metagross get rock? Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, so
I forgot about
removal,
that.
You have Latias, which is one of the best defoggers in the game, and then Moltres as a backup.
Is it really one of the best defoggers? Okay.
Latias, I'd say so. Yeah, it's
I feel it doesn't always want to run it though. Is the problem? But you have Moltres. It's more so
the thing is you have so many other mons that can be offensive.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
It's more so that you have 2 offensive rockers that may not have the cover, that may not have the move slots, and then you have Chansey and Corsola,
Or
which are
defensive
both like
rockers.
pretty good, but like they're also really passive.
I would say Nidoking usually has the move slots to run rocks. Like usually 3 coverage moves, like 3
Yeah.
attack moves is enough for most teams.
Yeah, that makes
on
sense.
based on like what I've used it so far.
Okay.
So I would say Nidoking can usually like it also forces a lot of switches, so those are prime opportunities to get up.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you know what? I apologize, Aero. I shouldn't have doubted a team that is big brain enough to draft Moltres. My
I
apologies.
just like everything. I like everything except for the Chansey Corsola. I think like sure you can get passive mons at the end. I just don't like how passive those 2 are in particular. But that's just me. Everything else I like.
Unless you have taunt, like you're still gonna kind of like taunt and recovery. You're still gonna kind of struggle with those, like because Chansey can just seismic toss you. Corsola has haze, will-o-wisp, strength saps. Like unless you have taunt, you're not gonna, or you're not gonna really break past them. And Chansey can always just be a teleport machine, so it's not the end of the world. I want to say, especially because the rest of the team applies so much pressure.
Yeah, it's like the rest of the team can function without either of those 2 and still be fine. It's just personal bias.
I mean, it's not even a question of function without those 2. Like, even with those 2, I think it functions well. Chansey can be a teleport bot and bring in, like, Weavile for free, Keldeo for free, Metagross
That's
for
true.
free.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this team long enough, though, so we can move on.
Let's move on. Oh, got this. Fish. And, this is a very fish draft, I feel.
A lot of signature Pokemon stuff like Mesprit, Hariyama,
Mega Gara, I feel like is a signature Fishmon.
So who wanna start?
I feel like it's a very physically biased team. Like, Torrentine Volk are very good special mons, but it's kind of it.
I think
Volk's
okay. I get where you're
okay.
coming from. I get where you're coming from with that, but like Volk Torn are gonna come like almost every single
yeah,
week,
no,
and you have
it's
a
not.
Sylveon.
I'm not saying like it's a big
No.
deal. I'm just saying that I did notice that.
Yeah, I think it just jumps out because like you have special at the start, physical at the end.
And it also,
So
I think it
you're
actually
able
kind of works out too, because like Cart, Zolt, they get checked by bulky grasses, and Torn Volk can kind of just shit on them.
I think saying this team is physically biased is cap as fuck.
Yeah.
There's Torrentine, Volcarona, Sylveon, like Mesprit, and then your physical offense is
Okay.
only really Kartana, Zolt, Gyarados, and like
Or you're disrespecting Hariyama. Big Hariyama.
if you did not count Sylveon or Mesprit, I will not count Hariyama. Like,
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I like Dumpy on this team. Like, I actually really like the FDS core here of like Sylveon, Kartana, Dracozolt. Like, I think they check you. They balance out each other really well. I really like 2 grasses on this team because like yeah, they both share fire weakness, but that doesn't really matter. Like Kevin was talking in the last analysis, was talking at length about bulky low tier bulky grasses, and I think Roselia is really solid for that. It sets up spikes and T spikes, which a lot of mons in this team really like Volcarona or Tornadus and Dracozolt, like even Kartana to an extent, like or Mega Gyarados and Kartana to an extent, like appreciate that the extra chip. Hippowdon's like also one of the best, like one of if not the best rockers in the game.
Yeah, I also really like that this team can function well with or without sand. Like, it's just a feature. It's not a core gameplay component of it.
yeah, it definitely feels like he drafted Hippowdon more than Sand. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
drafted more so for the Mon, and Hippowdon is a really solid Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, one of the best, like, reliable rockers. It can just come to every game and doesn't lose anything by just running rocks, because, like, what else are you gonna run, right?
Yeah, and it's also a reliable rock resist, which is nice for the top 2.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not a huge fan of is like I feel like the removal is pretty lacking here. I believe it's just like you have Torn,
Volcarona,
technically
and Kartana.
Kartana, and like you don't have any what's the word, like specialized like mon that always wants to run it, like dedicated. That's the word I was looking for. Dedicated removal. Like Torrentine doesn't necessarily mind running it, and Kartana in theory can afford the move slot. But like you don't have a spinner here when you have like a really good rocker on a team that really likes rocks and like spikes and T-spikes in the back. So I think like a spinner would have been really nice here.
I don't think you like spinning would mostly be like a feature. I don't think you really need it, especially because like your Mon's weak to rocks. Volcarona Tornti can just run boots. So like
and like Volcarona isn't even a Z-Mon, so boots are like more.
So I think it's pretty much always going to be boots. So I don't think having like the defoggers don't necessarily always want to bring defog, but your team is also fine without bringing defog at all. This is Gen 8 to exist, right?
Yeah.
So,
One thing I will say is that I do feel like strong fire types can be scary here, and to a much lesser extent, Scald is kind of annoying. Like Hippo will generally be a fine check for fires, but sometimes like it just gets a little overwhelmed. It's not a counter to many fire types, I would say. And
strong fire types can be annoying.
And Mega Gara doesn't really like burn, and it also it has to hold its Mega Stone, so it takes a chip from boots, and then it also doesn't really run rest that often.
Yeah, you might be forced to run like Heal Bell pretty often.
I don't think Scald is too big of an issue. You have Roselia that kind of just stonewalls most bulky water types with
Scald.
That's
what I said to a much lesser extent. I'm just saying, like, in the case that Roselia has a bad matchup, then Scald can be a little annoying to switch into. But again, like Roselia, like you said, Heal Bell, Soldion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about like Scald, then Roselia doesn't. If Scald is an issue, that means Roselia doesn't have a bad matchup because there's something Roselia can just come in on and click Spice. So I don't think that's too big of an issue. The only water type that can really be an issue for Roselia is like Volcanion. But then like that's one matchup.
Regular Gyarados, copium.
Regular Gyarados is not gonna click Scald.
That's so true.
Alright.
So yeah.
Volcanion wasn't even drafted, right?
Not
drafted in the other division.
No, I don't think Desolate drafted it.
But solid team. Definitely more on the offensive side, so can be prone to be reverse swept. Not trying to spoil anything, but yeah, besides that, really solid.
Damn, already spoiling shit in the analysis.
I'm not spoiling anything.
He said he didn't spoil anything. What are you implying?
What are you implying? Hazy? What the fuck? Are you spoiling anything?
Stop gaslighting. Kevin is a gaslighter. What else is new?
Hey, gatekeep, girl boss, gaslight, triple G's. Let's go.
Alright, let's move on.
Girl boss, Kevin.
So, now we have Bool, and this is a pretty fucking scary team, I think.
I feel betrayed. For 2 seasons, Bool drafts double fire type, and he just balls with it, and then all of a sudden he decides, fuck it. Friendship with fire types ended. Now, steel types is my best friend, or psychic type, or whatever.
And water, and electric.
What happened, Bool? Where did the fire types go? Where did the Infernape go?
two psychic, 2 steel, 2 flying. Not flying. 2 psychic, 2 steel, 2 electric. Not electric.
I just feel betrayed.
Yeah, electric, and
that's not the Bool I know.
Yeah.
Water.
I agree, but like seriously, I don't know why, but I really like this team. I just feel like
I get it.
Like the Rotom Wash, Corviknight, Vikavolt core, just to be able to slow pivot into, your Deoxys, your Mega Alt, your Tracheon, your Gengar, is really scary. And I
think Corviknight Rotom Wash is a really nice defensive core. I feel. I mean, I don't like Umbreon, but I think even that kind of fits with that.
Yeah.
I don't like Umbreon, period.
It gives a dark
there's no justifying for Umbreon.
I think the Z users are also really scary. Gengar, Tarak, love Z.
Pick them better, yeah.
Like Terrakion, Gengar, like offensively, like just pair together so nicely. Like they both have really solid coverage moves that really benefit from Z, and have really scary setup options in Nasty Plot and SD.
And they're also fast.
And they're also fast, yeah.
And you have webs.
With webs, exactly, yeah. I fucking love Mega Alt as a Pokemon. It's one of my favorite Megas. I haven't drafted it in a super long time. But it's one of my favorite Megas, and I really like it here.
Yeah, I like it here too, because it can act as like a glue between, both defensive and offensive Mega Alt sets work well here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because
Pull
we
ends on,
have
I'm a huge
things
fan of
like
too.
refresh allowed, we have stuff like return allowed. It makes alt, I think, a lot more viable than in standard Gen 8. And yeah, I like his team. He has, like really scary like offensive ones, right? Mainly just Deoxys, Gengar, Tirak, and Malt, and then everything else is just there to support. He has half the team is just defoggers, right? And then he has good rockers in Empoleon and Claydol, webs. So like, it really feels like he has the right support for his team.
And even that, I don't feel like outside of Umbreon, the bulk is that passive. I mean, I guess Claydol's kind of passive, but like, Vikavolt hits like a truck with even without investment. Corviknight can just kind of spam U-turn, and Rotom Wash is just annoying
Body
as
press
fuck.
too, yeah. I think there's one issue that kind of jumps out to me, and you have a speed gap between Terrakion at 108 and Rotom at 106.
You mean
and
86?
It's like 86. Thank you. I don't know why I said 106. 86 is barely high enough. Like barely makes it so base 100s can't run plus special.
Base
offensive stat.
base 100s can run modest on you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Max speed. Rotom is 298. Base 100, modest is 299.
Yep.
I stand corrected. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that's not very. Maybe I'm thinking level 50, but yeah, it's not very great. I think if base 100s can run, like your team has a fundamental issue.
You know what? I want to say this is not an issue at all because everyone else has that gap. So if there's no mons in that gap, it doesn't matter.
If everyone has that gap, then nobody does.
Gentlemen, too, let's not have any mons in the 90 like speed gap so that we all don't need to worry about that. And you know what? I can respect it. Hey. But yeah, my main issue here is that your offense is kind of susceptible to Pursuit Trap, right? Like, Gengar, Deoxys, super easy to Pursuit Trap, and that leaves you with just Terrakion.
And I guess sometimes Mega Alt. Like,
that can leave you, like, vulnerable to just getting stonewalled at one point by, like, I don't know, Toxapex, for example.
Oh, right. And another thing, too, is that there's also no ground resist. So Zygarde kind of has a lot of fun here.
Yeah. Zygarde's gonna be annoying, but that's one matchup, and like you still have ways to kind of deal with it, like bad Cotton Guard Malt, for example, right? And
yeah, it's not the end of the world,
it's
but
not
like,
the end of the world.
Not having a ground resist does kind of suck. I could see Gravity.
Yeah, it opens you up to like Gravity. Yeah,
Gravity.
Yeah, have fun on your week 9 match.
Oh, does he play Crow then?
Yeah, week 9.
Oh, damn.
Just Cotton Guard Malt. What is Zygarde gonna do? Iron Tail and miss miserably.
Sludge Wave for 30 copium.
Yeah, and then just take an Ice Beam and die. Like, it can be annoying, obviously, but you still have ways, I think, to kind of deal with it. So
yeah. Alright, I think we can
just have to win before they win.
I think just a note in general that I want to say is I really like how many Deoxys forms have been drafted this season. I think both normal and attack have gone in both divisions, which is really cool. We never seeing it to seeing it twice in both divisions. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we can.
I'm excited to see how the Deoxys will do. Yeah. Let's hope they don't get Pursuit Trap too much.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have SirKill, and I don't know how I feel about this. I really like the top two together. That sounds disgusting. That sounds nasty as shit.
Yeah, Zealander T.
Yeah.
Zealander T is crazy.
Yeah, and then he's thought that with Naga, and like those two just work together so well.
I mean, you have like a Mega Gardevoir at the like. I know Kev doesn't like it. Like you have Mega Gardevoir too.
Yeah. To
round out your offense with like Zarude. I think the offenses are really nice on this team.
Yeah.
But then like you kind of have like this. You kind of have some really weird Pokemons in the back, like Blastoise, Registeel. Like, it just feels weird more than anything. Like, I don't know why it just feels strange.
I think Blastoise is okay. It has Flipster and Shell Smash to be offensive. Like, I think in Gen 8 it's an okay mon. I don't know how I feel about Registeel Licky here because
they're just really passive compared to like everything else that feels very offensive. or like
they're
not
passive and they lose momentum.
Yeah.
I think that's the big part, because if we go back to the Chensi iterate, Chensi is passive, but it can come in on something that doesn't have taunt, hard wallet, and then just teleport out, right? Licky, if it comes in on something that it walls, it has to like either try to read and pull a double, or just wish and hope the opponent doesn't stay in, and you just lose momentum a lot with Registeel Licky.
Yeah, I like the Frost Lost pick though. I think that it's gotten a lot better now that it has Axel and Poltergeist, and I think also just getting spikes up for Naga and Lando and Mega Guard is amazing. Mega Guard in
Veil Copium.
Veil. But for real, I think the spikes really help out Mega Guard because it's one of those mons ever since the Gen 6, the Gen 7 nerf to Pixelate. It doesn't Oko shit anymore. It's now like doing 85, 90 to a lot of things, and with the spikes, you kind of can copium Oko shit now.
Yeah.
So I think it works out.
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of funny.
I can see some bulky steals maybe annoying, like if they run Alkaberry, or like, they can sort of check the Gardevoir and the Naganadel, but then like once you burn that berry, you just go to town with either or. And
even then, there's a Lando T and a Rotom Heat there, and those usually check steals pretty well.
Yeah.
Unless it's like offensive Empoleon, I guess, but then you have Registeel and Blastoise and Licky.
Offensive Empoleon is kind of copium in... I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. It's mostly just the middle two that feel weird here, because they're pretty much your only real defensive options, right? And as your only real defensive options, I feel like you'll always have to bring like one or the other to like support the team. And then if you if you want rocks, a lot of the time it's gonna be Registeel kind of will have to come, and then that's just a mon that will absorb all your momentum. As when Registeel hits the field, the opponent just gets like repositioned, which is unfortunate because the rest of the team is so good at keeping the momentum, right?
Yeah.
You turn Naganadel, you turn Lando, Volt, Rotom, you turn Zarude, flip turn Blastoise, you turn Primeape. Like, you have so much that it's unfortunate to have something like Registeel or Licky. I'm just glad SirKill did not draft Florges, because during the draft at some point he DM'd me and he was like, "What are your thoughts on this?" And he sent me fucking Florges. And like, I still don't know if he was joking or not, but I'm glad that Florges is not on my screen right now.
Kevin hates Florges a lot.
It's a bad Pokemon. It's horrible.
I mean,
so when we were talking about haunching a draft, that's one of the mon. That's like a certified haunch mon.
Yeah.
No, that's more of a banana mon, but even still.
Honch loves Moltres too, yeah. I will bully him every time he drafts Florges, and it's for his own good. It's for him to learn.
I think Honch learned this time.
Yeah, I really like his draft this time, so good job, Honch, if you're watching. I don't know why you would be watching this part, but if you are, good job, Honch.
Alright, I think we
Who knows, maybe Honch does decide to listen to SirKill's analysis. Who knows?
Alright, I think we can move on now. So, we're good to move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next up we have Gryphon, and...
Oh my god.
This team just feels very good.
I love this team. I love this team. There's
this seems like a Darunia team. I love this.
There is not a single mon on this team I would not consider drafting, I think. Except maybe Mega Manectric, but like if I really needed speed and because it still has it in power, like I'd draft it. And like,
for me,
I love Primarina, I love Silvally, love Drill, and love Cinderace, so like, and I have Illumisi on my team this season, so like, it's someone I like too.
For me, I'm not quite as sold on the team. I like Como, I like Prim, I like Alolan, I like Silvally, I like Drill. I don't like Cinder, but it's good here. Tangela's cool, Big Hippo's cool, but like...
Cinderace is broken 90% of the time, which is a lot.
I think, for me, my problem is that I still have PTSD over the first season here where I drafted Dawnwings, and it was just kind of Omega mid. It was just... It's a really weird mon to use and a really hard mon to make work. I think having Como Prim, like, getting so many, like, dark resists early on was a good move. because you
Yes.
really need good you need great dark resist and great ghost resist for it to kind of do anything, I feel. But even then, like, it's still vulnerable to random coverage because you're 3
I
times weak.
think because it's in a Necrozma, people tend to like kind of just pigeonhole themselves into like sweeper, right? Oh, I have to like sweep with my Necrozma, otherwise it's not worth like how much I paid for it and whatever. But like, you have so many mons here that can win games, right? Like Como is so good at it, especially with Z, Seal Valley, Drill. So
Yeah, no, I'm not
I think on this team, Necro can play more of a like just breaker role, right?
Yeah.
With just like spikes or maybe even scarf.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like Necro here is gonna be rarely the win con. I think it's more gonna be like just here to like maybe set up, get a kill or two, then die, and then that way the road is cleared for Como to win, Soul Valley to win, Drill to win, Cinder to clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, this is such a fucking awesome team. This looks like a team I would draft. I really like both of your Firewater Grass with or Fair Drink Seal with Como, Primarina, Extra. Like, these are all like super powerful mons, high end mons that pair with each other really well, and they're like all really offensive. So that can also be pretty bulky if necessary. I think maybe not so much drill, but it's a really nice combination. And then you have a high tier fast fire, a pretty bulky mid tier water, and then a low tier grass. Like, it's really solid. You have sand as an option if you ever want to run it with Excadrill. Speed is mostly fine, but repeat it with me. There's a sizable speed gap between Silvally at 95 and then I believe Cinderace at 119.
Yeah, I think it's Cinderace.
Yeah, it's Cinderace. And then
I think that gap is really bad, personally.
It's not great. I mean, everyone has a gap, so it's like, but this is also not even like a good gap in comparison, because it's like all these teams have like 115s that can get to run plus special attack and attack, so it's an issue, but like everything else I really enjoy about this team.
Yeah, at this point, like, I don't think speed gap you care about it, because yes, people can abuse your speed gap, you can also abuse theirs, so you know, it's for
and like everything
he's gonna have a lot of fun against a lot of these teams where like they can't really revenge kill it easily. And so, you know,
yeah, and there's also just a lot of mons here can like are either naturally fast or they just love to set up the speed. Like, I'm looking at Dawnwings and Como mainly. Soul Valley too.
Yeah.
Drill has sand for speed, so. Well, even without sand, Drill has spin to get the boost.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how Griff does, because I really like this team. Again, I think I've drafted most of the mons in here.
And I think the Roland Muck is like this Gloomon as well is just so awesome. Like,
yeah, I love
as a knockoff spammer, it's so awesome. I need to draft that guy again.
He's a Chadmon.
Crayon Eater?
No, average Crayon Enjoyer.
Yeah. And yeah, there's I think this whole thing, which is us being, I like those mons, so your analysis, Griff, hope you enjoyed it. Really insightful, and
yeah, very helpful, very cool. Alright, I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Next up we have Aaron, and thank God he made some trades, because otherwise I was just gonna say, like, this team was more annoying than good.
What was the team like before?
He had like Toxapex and
and
I think that was like the main thing. But he dropped
over Gren. He didn't have
Thank God he dropped Toxapex for Gren.
This team hurts my head. Like, I don't. Is that Torrent or Protean Greninja?
Torrent.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's the S tier.
Yeah, I figured. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the FDS core is like really, really good. Like, very scary, but like, aside from really Lottie, there's nothing on this team that I look at and I'm like, yeah, I'm scared of that mon. It's just kind of like a lot of mons that are pretty good, and I am sure like work pretty well together, but they don't reek as like these scary Pokemon, to be honest.
I think it's because, you know, there's not a lot of big offensive Pokemon. This team, like, main way to win games is definitely gonna be in the long run, but obviously I think it's gonna be really good at that. You have Dugtrio to trap key threats to your mons, and then Clefable, Lati, Steela can all just win like in the long game, whether it's with like Leech Seed, Steela, or setup, and then like same thing for Clefable. It can just be any sort of weird setup, right? Calm Mind, Cosmic Power.
I think it wins just by being more annoying to the opponent than anything else. Like, Mega Lottie Clef Celestial is going to be a bitch to break for a lot of teams. And they can do a lot of different things. Like, Celestial definitely can run offensive sets. Clef can run offensive sets. Mega Lottie can run offensive sets. So it's not the end of the world. Darmanitan, I think, was pretty necessary to get here. Cause otherwise, I think like bulky steals would just sit on this team forever. I mean,
you have Conkeldurr right there.
Yeah. Well, I just think Darm is like a bit more immediately threatening because it's faster.
Yeah.
And can U-turn out. Only problem is that it suicides itself really fast.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Garbodor and Greninja. Like, those are like two of my favorite mons in draft. But this team, like, it just does not sit well with me.
It feels really passive, and so I'm thinking of something like Haze Finny is just gonna sit there.
Yeah,
and just click Haze on your ass.
If there's something that Conk or Darm can't murder or can't be trapped by Dougie, then I feel like this team is gonna really struggle to get past
the Tuxapex Evan drop, right? Haze Tuxapex here is a pain in the ass because like it can live an EQ from Dougie easily and just Scald Burn you or Scald Kill you, or it can just be Shed Shell? Shed Shell. Jesus. Yeah. And then it's gonna be super annoying and like...
Shell Bell is a really bad item.
Yeah. I think a lot of mons that can just haze you or phase you are gonna be annoying here because a lot of your like win conditions heavily rely on setup, right? Your main win conditions are the first three, and like all of them kind of wants to set up to really win the game.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a weird team to see.
I will say, I think that the Z users are generally really nice choices, though I think Celesteela might have been pretty nice instead of like Dugtrio, Verdant Frost. Or
I think Z Steela definitely should have Steela definitely should have been one of the Z, because having the option to go like Z Fly on physical Autotomize sets, right? Or that was the main one, or like Z Stone Edge to break through fire types.
I think
Stone Edge. I don't know. I guess Rock Slide though.
Yeah, I think it does get Edge. It might. I think I agree with Kevin. I think Z Celestial should have been a priority here.
Yep.
And then everything else should have been tried to fit around it. Maybe you could have gotten like Bren, and then can you do Rotom, Garbodor? No, Bren, Frostum, and Celesteela? I don't think so, but like even then, I think having Z on Celesteela would have been.
No, you're one short.
Okay, so you would probably have to do like Celesteela, Dougie, Frost, which I think still would have been fine. But I think Zing Bren over Celesteela is just. Well, Bren isn't even bad at Z. It's just I think Celesteela really likes it, and Bren is just like it's okay.
I feel like one of the reason why Steela was a top mon in Gen 7 was because of Z, and like our format is essentially just Gen 7, right, with extra mons. So like in the format like ours, I feel like not Zing Steela really, like your team is already on the more passive side, and not Zing Steela kind of just removes one of your better ways to break through stuff.
Yeah, you just shoot yourself in the foot here.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's the main
Aaron's
thing.
Aaron's a good player from what I understand. Like, I haven't seen him play, but I'm sure he'll do fine. But this team just feels very lacking.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those teams where you have to dig deeper into the toolbox to get out wins than you might with a more immediately threatening team.
Yeah. But hey, maybe Aaron can summon his inner Theo and just win all his games with this weird semi-stall team.
Unfortunately, you can't rig here. We're the riggers, not you. Maybe we'll rig in your favor. We'll see.
Alright, we can go next now.
Next up, we have Cinna, and
I like this. He kind of copied my book, and it was more than likely my book because of how fast Primordial was. Zamazenta with the slow twin with teleport, future sight.
Well, I think it's mainly just because I told him like, hey, Zama's probably pretty easy to use, and he loves slow bro.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, like his favorite mon, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why he spouts nonsense like Slowbro is cuter than Mamoswine.
Like Slowbro is cuter than Mamoswine.
Yeah,
That's
he said that earlier today. But yeah.
Leave in the comments below whether or not you agree with him.
Is Slowbro cuter than Mamoswine? That's the question.
Question of the day.
Yeah, tomorrow's question of the day. Alright, so I really like the Fairy Dragon, Steel, Hydreigon, Tapu Lele, Zamazenta.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all like really strong offensive threats that complement each other really well. I think that Future Sight and Psychic Terrain sounds really, really, really strong, and I am excited to see if he's able to pull that off. Your Z users are really solid.
Lele here. I don't
really like Lele here that much either. I think like you don't like, even though Slowbro's kind of slow and more of a defensive mon than offensive, you don't really need to get a secondary Psychic alongside it. And I think
especially because you already have a fairy.
Yeah.
Like Lele's a lot of points, and like you didn't even see it, so like it's kind of just outclassed by Hydreigon. I feel as like a
I don't really feel like you're that weak to priority either. Like Zama Slowbro.
I think it probably more hurts you than helps. So when you have a Mamoswine, when you have Mamoswine,
Mamoswine and Whimsicott, like Prankster Whimsicott,
it doesn't help Prankster. Huh.
Yeah, so like I'm not a huge fan of Lele here. I feel like that's a lot.
I think like a different offensive Psychic might have been nice here. Instead, I think like Quillfish is a low tier pick with spikes and T-spikes. I think maybe a secondary rocker would be nice because Zamazenta really appreciates hazards. Just because like you don't have a good way to boost your attack aside from Howl, which is only +1.
I feel like something like I feel like something like a Mega Aero could fit here really well over Lele.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, maybe not amazingly, because like it'll still struggle with bulky grounds kind of check it and Zama, but again they can overwhelm. And you also have big Mamogus and Blaze, even though it's you're weak to ground. Like most ground types do not want to switch into you at all.
Yeah. But yeah, besides Lily, I like mostly everything. I think Whimsicott is extremely cringe, though. I guess that's another thing, but if you're dropping Lily, you'll need a fairy. But I definitely drop one of Lily or Whimsicott. I just feel like, one of them doesn't do anything here, right? And
yeah, I think Lele makes a bit more sense to drop personally.
I also think like,
because you have. Go ahead.
No, mine was a different thing. You go.
So I was gonna say, like, you're kind of stuck in, but you have Z Blacephalon and Z Hydreigon, so like, I feel like you don't really need Lele's like special breaking power here or whatever, right? Like, there is not much Lele can break that Hydreigon Blacephalon can't together. And then, like, if you're worried about, I don't know, bulky darks, there's a Zamazenta.
Yeah.
And, like, so, like, you didn't really need Lele here. And it's a lot of points. And that's the thing, too. Like, isn't it 16 in here?
I want to say 17.
Yes.
17, Jesus.
No, I think it's 16.
No, it's 17. It's 17.
Oh, it is 17. Alright, I stand corrected.
So many points that you kind of just dumped there.
Yeah,
I feel doesn't do much on this team.
Yeah, I think you have Lele for another top tier mon here.
Yeah. I talked about Slowbro with like teleport future sight, but I also just really like the slow pivot here. Because you have fast pivots as well, but like you have mons like Blacephalon and Hydreigon that really don't want to take hits, and Mamoswine that don't want to take hits, but they really like having that slow momentum into like say you have Slowbro against like maybe Tangrowth isn't the best example, but like something that's slower than Mamoswine that is weak to it. Like Mamoswine just gets a free hit off for free, So having like that slow pivot, especially with teleport, especially with future sight, is going to be really, really scary. When you have frail amounts on that team.
I wouldn't say Hydra is really frail. Like you can run bulky on it pretty well.
Yeah,
it's not frail by any means.
It's one of those mons that it's like Genesect where it can take like 1 or 2 neutral hits, but that's it.
Yeah, but unlike Genesect, you also have Roost and good.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I would say overall, like the team, but I think that the Lele is a little bit unnecessary here.
Yeah, I think that's my main criticism here. Because, like, otherwise your offense looks really, really scary here, right? You have Zamazenta, Blaze, Hydreigon, Mamoswine, and, like, trading Lele for another offensive mon here that maybe more physically oriented this time could be cool, or like maybe even just another defensive mon, right? Something to like another regen mon to couple with Slowbro, or upgrading one of your lower tier pick could be nice here.
Yeah.
But you could drop both Lele Whimsicott here and draft like a better grass and a better fairy. And I feel like that could be nice. You also, like, especially since
grab
you
a
don't
low tier
have
fairy or a low tier grass.
Yeah, or like you can even go with a higher tier one like Mega Venu or something. You have the points to do so. If you drop
Mega Venu
Lele,
could
right?
also work here because like Mega Venu Slowbro sounds kind of annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can move on.
You can
now.
probably figure out something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up we have Lucy, and her team's weird, but I think it kind of works.
There's a Mega Empress. I know that she'll call me a hater, but Cringemon. L plus ratio plus Cringemon. Besides that, I like everything else. Komala can be funny. I'm not gonna say who, but I just saw someone get swept by Scarf Komala.
Shut up.
And Glow King Greatmon, Rillaboom Greatmon, like it's you're probably two of the best mons to come out of Gen 8 with Pult.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have stuff like you have a lot of nice support options, right? Crobat has Defog, Taunt, Beetle has Webs, you have Veil with Ninetales, you have but then you don't have like a really good sweeper, I feel, that benefits from that. Like Rillaboom kind of, but
yeah, I was gonna say Veil seems kind of unnecessary here. Like everything that can deal out damage is just bulky enough to where Veil is only like a win more button.
So from what I understand, Skylar was definitely just trying to draft around Mega Ampharos, so she just picked mons that somewhat synergized with it. At least at the start, I told her to grab Worry Beetle because I was like, oh, Webs and Trick Room, like Mega Ampharos in theory can like do both, although it's not great with that.
Webs with Ampharos is copium. Ampharos is too slow to make Webs work.
you have like agility, like it's not perfect, but it's something that
it's still coping hard.
Either way, it's a good Trick Room setter, and like you have mons like Dracovish that can abuse Webs pretty decently. So I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah.
This guy's definitely a player that mostly just plays to have fun. Don't care, plus playing, plus having fun. So as long as she has fun, I'm cool with it.
There are a lot of funny button mons here.
And you have Slow King, or you have Glow King and Urshifu single strike. Like that's a patented Darunia team.
I just think one thing that could have been nice here is having another like really great sweeper or offensive mon, because from what I'm understanding, Lucy drafted a bunch of support options to support the Ampharos, but maybe have another offensive mon there that benefits from the support to kind of win games instead of Ampharos could have been nice. Like on this, you don't have to drop the Ampharos; you can just pick up something else.
Yeah, I feel like
also benefit from other support.
I feel like there's a bunch of wall breakers here, but there's not really many sweepers. If you get what I mean.
There's no good way to like win games, like no good cleaner or whatever. It's a lot of mons that are either more support oriented or like mons like Urshifu, Rillaboom, Dracovish are really good at like killing one mon, but they'll rarely just clean up the whole game because they just get revenge shield pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I feel like a win condition here could have been nice, but yeah, I don't know what could be the win condition here though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Other than,
that's the only thing I changed.
Outside of
like one win condition.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think it's a pretty fun team. It's probably not something that I would draft maybe like half of these mons. but I think it looks like it would be fun to use. You got a lot of funny buttons that I think.
Yeah,
will...
I love funny buttons. Like Rillaboom, Dracovish, or Shifu are like the 3 horsemen of funny buttons in Gen 8.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny.
Yeah. I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we got Thomas, and top 3, really good, but then I just feel like
I love Zapdos and Mega Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe after like Jirachi, arguably Roserade, like the things just start to kind of get weird.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think I fully agree, but I guess go off.
I like Roserade here in this meta, but it does kind of you did kind of have to cope and get the Go-Go for a ground resist because Roserade is not taking an EQ at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree with Hazy. I really like the first 3, and I don't like anything else after that.
I like the Roserade, but I don't think
it
works
strange team.
I like Roserade on its own in our format, but I don't like it on this team. It's like this is I think you really wanted a good bulky grass, like a tank growth here would have been perfect.
It's just you have a Pheromosa and Zapdos, which is like a really, really good Volturn core, and then everything else just loses momentum. It's insane. Like Donphan, Miltank, Suicune, Go-Go, like Roserade. I don't.
Yeah, and like Miltank, Suicune, Go-Go, Jirachi are all, I wouldn't say like totally passive, but they lean more towards the passive side.
Yeah.
So it can be kind of annoying, and like you're kind of relying on Pharaoh Diancie, and I guess sometimes offensive Roserade to like kill shit. Zapdos is very good at getting chip, I'll say that. Donphan isn't bad at it, and then you have like Suicune that it's okay at it, but it's generally one of those mons that like, you know, it tries to set up and win games more than anything.
Yeah, so like this team can have struggle, I think, breaking through stuff. I can imagine something like, again, really bulky mons like a Porygon 2 or a Registeel would be just really annoying, right? Just because a lot of your mons kind of just sit there and they're like weird. Donphan is like, you know, Donphan is good utility, and it can definitely hit hard. You never want it to be like your main breaker against stuff, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of cleaners. I feel like it's kind of the opposite problem with that Lucy had, where it's a lot of cleaners, but then there's like your only breaker is like, I guess, Pheromosa.
Pharaoh kind of, yeah. But even then, I think Pheromosa is better at just like cleaning up a chip team because you don't want to rely on landing moves like triple axel, high jump kick, or whatever. And you're not gonna Oko stuff with CC like when they're at full. Pharaoh is definitely better at just like a pivot, clicking a U-turn, revenge killing stuff. And once the team is weakened, you kind of just sweep or like clean through the team because you get speed boost. But like here, you have Diancie, and besides that, there's nothing really to like poke the holes Pheromosa needs to just finish up a team.
Yeah. And
like this team feels weird, like it should have some glaring weakness, like to a type that I'm just not seeing.
I don't think type synergy makes, or it always has to like make or break a team. Like you can have good type synergy and still have like
No, I don't disagree with that.
I do feel like having a fire type might be nice, just to help alleviate some pressure on Diancie for like killing steals. But I guess Pharaoh's pretty good at that. And Zapdos sits on most steals, so it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, especially because like Diancie is not a reliable way to kill steals; it's more a reliable way to die to steals.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like having a better, like having more steal killers would be nice, but like Pharaoh Zapdos is probably fine for that.
Yeah,
I just think the top 3 are gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting to make everything else kind of work.
Yeah. One thing I'd do is probably downgrade stuff like Miltank, Roserade, and then use those points to pick up like maybe another like breaker that could
Hazy in the Roselia propaganda.
No, it's Kevin in the Roselia propaganda.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
I'm just saying, spending like 12 points on Roserade on this team doesn't seem worth it. 12 or 11, I don't even know.
I think it's 11.
Okay, yeah. I still don't think it's worth it, especially because you had
Yeah.
to, on top of it, draft Gogo at 2, so like,
Mm-hmm.
you spent 13 points on grass types for what? You could have spent 4 on Roselia.
Which also doesn't resist ground. I want to add.
That's fine.
Spend 3 on Quilladin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I think we can move on. Are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Next up is my team. And,
Disgusting.
you want me to talk about it, or...
You can go ahead, yeah, give us your thought process.
Yeah,
on what
you guys made me talk about my team.
Before we dismantle your team, go ahead.
Alright, so...
This bit of work.
Originally, I wanted to get, like, either Magearna or Protean Grunt, but, like, as soon as I saw my draft position, I was like, yeah, I'm not getting either of them, especially Magearna. So I was like, I'm just gonna kind of see what falls down to me. When it gets to me, pretty much all of the S tiers that I would really want to try are taken. So I'm like, I can just wait for my S tier at the end, and I'll just like, I'll get good reliable momentum mons. So Coco, Mega Scizor, and then somehow Mew made it to me end of round 3. So it's like, there's no, like, you can't give up on it. Like, you can't pass a Mew in round 3. Like, no matter.
Hazy can't pass a Mew in round 3.
Yeah, I can't. So I grabbed it, and then I figured it fits really well here. I think like it works with Coco, works with Scizor. It's a nice speed tier for my team. And then everything else is just like I can kind of do whatever and just get mons that I think will be nice, like mons that are good at good win cons, but also pretty bulky and have some utility. And then towards the end, I was between Giratina or KB for my S tier mon. And I went with KB because I've used Giratina like twice in the past 3 seasons, so I'm getting kind of bored of it, and it's been forever since I've used Kyurem. So just like, yeah, sure, why not? And I'm relatively happy with my team, but I do feel like maybe I could have gotten like a dedicated breaker, because a lot of my mons are just kind of either cleaners or win cons.
KB is not immediately powerful.
It's not. Like, you're rarely gonna Oko stuff on turn 1 with KB.
It's not if you don't try harder.
But yeah, you guys can with my team and do one.
I like it a lot. The 2 mons here I'm not sold on are Nihilego and KB. I think I've talked enough about KB, so let's just skip that part. Nihilego, I feel like, feels like it's a mashup fish mon a lot of the time, I feel. Like, it only really like shines in certain matchups. Otherwise, it's kind of just there as like, yeah, I'm gonna click rocks, click knock, and hope like the checks to me die.
I can agree with that to some extent. I don't think it's like the end of the world with hidden power, but it does have some matchups where it's just like, damn, I kind of don't do anything besides.
Even with hidden power, like a lot of steals kind of just stated. Like, let's say you're facing Asia's Flash, hidden power fires, you're not gonna do anything.
It has foul play and like knockoff and.
Again, foul play is not gonna do much with Aegis Flash because like, how much attack does it have? Like 50 when it's in shield form.
Sure.
Like, and then you just die in return.
I don't know. I was like, I want like I definitely want a poison type, but I don't really know which one kind of fits. And like Nihil, like I haven't used Nihilego in a while. It seems kind of fun. Kind of a good another. Well, I guess I don't really need another cleaner with this team, but
it's one of the mashup fish mon I don't like as much. Like there's some mons where it's like they really shine in certain matchups, but even in matchups where like maybe they can have a harder time, they can still do a good job. Things like SirKill, for example, right? Like if you're facing someone who has like let's say a Sap Supermon, right? You can still glare stuff, defog, knock off, and be annoying. Nihilo can still click rocks and do stuff, but like,
yeah,
I think is just not as nice here, and like you just die 20 physical hits, you have a 4-time weakness, so like, I don't know. And
so I feel like me and Hazy, like I think if you saw the last analysis, we didn't really agree on like our favorite teams. But generally speaking, I feel like we draft pretty similarly, and like this is a team I really enjoy. Coco Mega Scizor is like a Hazy classic, and I think KB rounds out your Fairy Dragon Steel core incredibly well. And like, yeah, like I joke like, oh, Hazy can't pass him around 3 Mew, but like I mean, it's a mon that he feels very comfortable with, so of course he should draft it.
I think most people should. It's
most people should draft it. I think especially as a comfort mon. But I mean, like, it's really solid on this team, and Hazy knows exactly how to use it. So it's not a mon I know how to use, so I definitely am like, yeah, you're awesome. You know how to use it. I think like Seismitoad is a really nice blue mon on this team. I love Moltres, and I also really like Valerian Moltres, and I think having like this really nice setup sweeper on this team is nice. I kind of like. I think it might help to have like a slower pivot into it, but just so it can have like more free. Oh yeah, you're so right. My mistake. My mistake. I know Kevin really doesn't like the Heligo, but it's a mon I really enjoy using. Like when I have used it in the past, it's been really fun because like when it has a good matchup, it typically has a very good matchup when it's good. So it can kind of go ham, and like if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty. I think it's pretty easy to run. Yeah, it's easy to get plus special attack, but not easy to get plus speed. So you can just slap on a Choice Scarf and like it's base 103. So and then you just get special attack boost, and in the right conditions, it can definitely do really well. And like one of the most threatening mons for Nihilego is Mega Scissor, which is on this team. So, and then Porio as well is like a really nice mon. I think like Leafeon's kind of a weird grass pick in my opinion. I'm not quite sure what the purpose is, but like
I like Leafeon. It's just there to wish past check grounds.
It's mainly there as a fat ground resist for the.
Like, I just feel like something like Quilladin at the same points might be a little better, just as a like more of a bulk mon with support. But if you're planning on using it for wish pass, then like that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I also think Quilladin's also like just a little like, passive.
It has Super Fang and Taunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess it's not that bad. But Leafeon has Leech Seed, so it's not end of the world.
Yeah.
And
Quilladin also has Leech Seed.
Leafeon is fast for a defensive mon at least, so I get to click the support move before I get taunted at least.
Quilladin's literally faster. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this is a team I really, really enjoy actually. And like this feels like a very Hazy team. And if Hazy has a team that works well with the playstyle, he's definitely going to do well. So
I just find it kind of funny too that it ends up kind of looking like a Gen 7 OU team. Like I could bring Coco, Megasis, Coco, Megasis, Mew, Infernape, Nihilego, KB into a Gen 7 OU game, and it's like it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my team.
I think there's a speed gap between Infernape and Coco, which is like kind of unfortunate, but like that's like 123.
It's 124.
Yeah,
can run.
124 is to 129, which that's like what Weavile.
It's like what Weavile, Skyman that wasn't drafted, Talonflame.
Yeah, that's just
that's not really a huge problem. But yeah, I really like this team.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I like a lot of mons here. Porygon, the GOAT. I'm glad I convinced Hazy this mon is good. And then, the only, like I said, there's only like 2 mons here I'm not a fan of. Everything else, like,
I think
great here.
KB at least works on my team because it's not like I built my team around it. It's just kind of slapped on at the end.
Yeah, KB I don't really mind. It's Nihilego I just don't like. Cringe mon, but whatever.
All right, on to the last team.
We have Psycho.
So one thing I want to point out real quick is every single person except for 2 drafted an S tier round 1. The 2 that didn't drafted it the last round, and I think that's really interesting. And it was 13th and 15th pick. So that was pretty cool. That's all I wanted to point out.
Thank you.
Every team has an S tier one.
I find it. Okay, so for Psycho's team, I find it really funny that he had the opportunity to snipe Mega Scissor for me, but he didn't. But he went with regular instead. But besides that, like Finny, Zardex, Necro,
the team
Ashgren,
the team structure here is weird, right? Like a lot of mons here have like. I don't know. I feel like the team structure here is a bit weird. And I don't know how to describe it. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what you're.
I
What you're putting down.
I kind of get what you're trying to say, but I kind of don't. Like
It's a
I
lot of
think-
mons. Like the last 5 are mons you don't typically see,
mhm.
and then
Oh, okay.
the first 6 are a lot of mons where they're like they can do a bit of everything, right? So like it just makes the team structure here, I think, really weird because like
yeah, I
it's
kind of get
just-
what you're saying.
everything
think-
can do anything a bit.
I don't
and,
think
yeah.
Rhyperior gets drafted that often, to be fair. And I also think that it was a reach for round 5, but I don't dislike it.
I
here.
was about to ask if it was a trade because it
No.
feels very off there.
It is a reach here, but if they wanted to use Rhyperior, why not? Right?
Yeah.
I feel
Exactly.
I feel like the Bralum is also a little weird, just because like you have Misty Train, but like you can't spore opponents that are
And
traveling.
Spore can Toxic over yourself. Yeah, that is weird.
Like
I don't know why. So okay, Volbeat is at 3. It should definitely be lower, but because Baton Pass used to be allowed and Volbeat had a niche as like Telglow Baton Pass mon. Now that Baton Pass is not allowed anymore, Volbeat's kind of just a worse Illumise. So I'm surprised it got drafted at 3.
I do
Electivire
like,
is just a bad Pokemon.
yeah, Evire sucks.
What is?
Electivire.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah,
don't hate the
I-
Tornadoes here. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's good speed tier here.
Yeah. One thing I really like is I really Tapu Fini Zardex is and I've drafted Tapu. I've drafted like I really like doing a Water Fairy, Fire Dragon Zardex, and then Grass Steel. I think it's like really funny, and like those types those type combinations just synergize so well together. For pretty obvious reasons. But I think like Tapu Fini Zardex, like they do pair with each other really well, in my experience. Like I mean, it doesn't. You can't really run that bulky like Will-O-Wisp Zardex set, but I meant Zardex, not Zardwai. You can't really run that like bulky Will-O-Wisp set, but that's it. And I think Mega Scissor, or not Mega Scissor, Regular Scissor has like a pivot with those, and like it fits the core because it's only weak to fire, and you have a 2 times resist and a really good resist Fini as well. So
Yeah, I feel
I
like
really like that pairing.
it is a little unfortunate that Zardex's scale shots are weakened in terrain, but it's not the end of the world. You have
Yeah.
DD for a reason. And
Yeah, and like before Scale Shot, like Zardex didn't like super often run Dragon Move. Like it was simply like DD Roost.
EQ, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But to be fair, that's more so ladder. Like I feel like in draft, it definitely run it more often.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
I also like the Zardex Ashgren pairing here.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because I feel like Zardex, like one of Zardex's biggest checks is bulky grounds, and Ashgren just uses them as setup fodder to get its form activated, and then just kind of do Ashgren shit.
Yeah.
And then there's just a Necrozma chilling there for why not?
Yeah.
I
I think like Torn as a Zmon over like I don't know if you could Z Necro with Ashgren. I think
I don't think you
can't.
could.
oh yeah, Ashgren just went up in points. That's right. Yeah, no, never mind. I thought it was still 19. Yeah. So yeah, I think Torn is a good Z user then, and like obviously like I don't know how to feel about Z Ashgren because like I granted this is more so my experience with ladder, but like I used to really enjoy running just like specs.
Yeah.
Well, he can
But
still
I don't
run
know if
specs.
it's the same. Yeah, I mean obviously, but I don't know how often you're gonna be able to actually like pop the Z move on it and like actually use it as opposed to like Necro. Where Necro really likes it to muscle pass like Steel specifically with like Ground Z or Fire Z, so even fighting you wanted to. So I don't know. I do really like the team. Like these are just kind of like small nitpicks. Like
I feel like
the ending mons are kind of strange, but I think the start is like incredibly solid. Where like it doesn't matter how bad the ending is.
I feel really
can
conflicted
agree
about
with
this
that.
team. Like
it's like I like the first half quite a lot, and then the second half is just weird.
I think a different grass could be really nice. Like if you drop Breloom, Volby, Electivire, and like picked up a really good water killer, like either a really good electric or a really good electric and a low tier grassier might be nice instead.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Electivire is just a waste of picks, is a waste of points. Honestly, it's just so bad.
It doesn't do anything. Like, it just serves no purpose. It has no role, no niche, right? It just exists.
Yeah.
Physical electric types really just got done dirty in general. Like, why is Wild Charge your best move? Wild Charge sucks.
Like the only good physical electric is Zera, and that's because it has its own
Plasma
custom.
Fist. Yeah. And then there's Draco's ult is okay because it's Bolt Beak.
Yeah. And I guess Zekrom, but you have Bolt Strike.
So if you have a signature move, only physical electric.
But yeah, essentially there is no good mon that relies on Wild Charge. Period.
Yeah.
Like, just because the move sucks, but it's their only option, and I still don't know why they did that.
So, like, you have mons like Regieleki still on the board, Toxtricity, Magnezone if you wanted to go that, like, Galvantula, Heliolisk, like, and of course, like, Quilladin still on the board. I think both Tangela and Roselia were taken, but there are some pretty nice low-tier grasses still available, if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Cradily, of course, if you wanted to go that.
Cradily doesn't do anything.
Cradily sets rocks.
Yeah, sets rocks, spams recover, is annoying. But I don't think Cradily
It's a Hazy mon.
It doesn't really work because you already have good water resist. Well, like, I guess it could work because, you know, Finny does.
Yeah, you have Finny, you have Finny.
Yeah, that was a throwaway. There's a throwaway line.
Shut up.
Torterra's still available at 2 points. We'll say that.
I think Torterra has 2 points is kind of a steal, so I'll take it.
Nah, I think it's a grass ground.
It's an EQ. It's a really good EQ answer, and that's
it's an Edgequake resist.
Yeah, it makes your team not weak to Edgequake, right? So, like, if you look at a team with Torterra, you can go, it's not weak to Edgequake.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Alright, I think let's move on to our favorite teams then.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird. I feel real conflicted about a lot of those teams. Let's see.
I really wish I had actually. I wish I had written this down because I'm thinking. Okay, I think that there's one that we're kind of all in agreement.
There.
Yeah, I think that there. Yeah.
Griff's team is in there for sure. Hazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Like, I think there are two that we. There's one that we can all agree with, and it's Gryphons.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking like this is easily without a doubt my favorite team. Like, this is the one I would draft.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't love it as much as you two do, but I would say that this is a good team. I just like Honch's team. I don't know what I'd take as a third. I like Honch's team.
Honch's team is nice. I like Luka's team. Let me see what I'd pick for my third.
We're very professional here at on the okay. Yeah, I think so my three would probably be Gryphons, definitely, like, which we've already seen. It would probably be K-Bools. Like, I just think it just looks so scary on paper, and it synergizes really nice with each other. The Umbreon is the only thing that I don't like about it, because I just think Umbreon is a shit Pokemon and annoying. Like, it's annoying to use and annoying to play against. And then my third is it's a toss-up between Hazy's, which it's the team that I would probably draft, and I know it fits his playstyle very well. And then Aero's as well, I think, is really solid. Like, I know we talked about how Chansey and Corsola are, like, really passive, but I think it really doesn't take away how amazing the first 7 mons are.
Yeah.
So
my three would probably be
also really good as well.
Yeah, my three would probably be Gryphon's team, Hazy's team, and I think I'll go with Luka's team as my third. I think Dragapult, Mega Medium, and the Buzz is really, really, really strong together, and then the Cure on top of that, and I think it just makes the team extremely hard to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And then the support options also aren't bad.
For me, I would go with... I like Honch's team a lot. It just seems fun. It's actually like probably one of the few Honch teams I would consider drafting. I like Fish's team, but again, it does have some issues. It just seems like something I would end up using, besides maybe like Tornty for something different. But everything else I like quite a lot. And yeah, I would say probably Gryphon or SirKill next. Like if SirKill didn't have the 2 passive fucks in Registeel like I would love this so much.
Yeah, SirKill's later half, there's not anything I like there.
But yeah, for me it would either be SirKill or Gryphon for the third team I like, excluding mine because that would be biased and cringe. But yeah, that's
we are biased and cringe. That's our favorite
like,
team.
I don't think we mentioned this with Gryphon's team, but like the last 3 mons is like really cheap and expensive mons that like can easily come. He's really solid as well. Like that's the other thing that I really enjoy. Like you got your low tier bulky grass, you have like sand potential, and then Illumise. So,
but yeah, I feel like all of us had pretty different teams that we really liked. So I think Desolate, like the teams here in Desolate, are just a bit more like more well balanced. Or it's like there's not like anything that I could say are like clear favorites for all of us, except for maybe Griff's.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of the teams, like even the teams that have a lot of mons I like, have some sort of like jank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
if you take Flap's team for example, I love the top half, but then you go to the later half and there's a Simisear, there's a Mega Bayonet, and it's like, what is that doing there? I don't know. Like for SirKill's team,
Flap's is also in the running for my top 3. I want to mention.
Yeah, like SirKill's team, I really love the first half, and then I hate the second half.
I think like there were a lot of teams that were like there was a lot of good but a lot of bad. Whereas I think Desolate, like there were like generally speaking, there were like teams that we really liked or really didn't like.
You mean Primordial?
So, Primordial, my bad.
Yeah, here I feel like every team is like pretty. I would say probably every team here is like I like 60 to 70% of the team, sometimes 80%, but there's never like anything like, oh, this is just amazing from start to end.
Yeah. I mean, Griff's team is the only team like I draft pretty much every mon on there. Like even Hazy's team, I have it as like my second. I said it, but you know, I wouldn't use KB and Hiligo. And then for my third one, Luka's team, honestly, I'd probably use everything on there, but some of like the mons like Jolteon and Talonflame are not like mons I'd think of initially, but obviously like if things get sniped, they're mons I would consider.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So it's kind of a toss-up.
I think that's
the
about
end of our very undecisive Desolate analysis PR.
And just remember, question of the video is Slowbro cuter than Mamoswine? Answer that in the comment section down below. And
we also asked what your favorite ice cream flavor last time. What's your favorite? It's another sweet. What's your favorite type of cookie? Answer that as well. And leave a like on the video, and be sure to watch our other videos. And by us, and by ours, I mean mostly Hazy's.
Yeah, this is my channel after all.
Go watch the Vanillux video. Click on Hazy's profile right now. Go to the videos and go watch that Vanillux video. It's old Hazy. You'll absolutely love his voice. And let's make that the most viewed Hazy video, even though it already is.
It already is, and by like a wide margin.
Can we get 1 more billion views on that?
Yeah. Let's have it play in theaters. You know. Let's have it like outsell Morbius.
1 hazillion views.
I hate it here.
1 vanillion views.
Let's get a Hazy Jared Leto interview for Jared Leto to promote his video, you know?
Good God.
But for that, we need all of you to go click on that video. Go leave a comment on that video and say, Kevin sent me here.
I feel like Pandora's box has just been opened. But yeah, bye.
Goodbye.
Adios.